So my piece is called the Makeover. I'm excited to share a bit about my organization's transformation journey. So the BC Centre for Ability is an organization based in Vancouver, BC, that's been providing community health and social services across British Columbia for 52 years. We provide critical developmental, rehab, employment, mental health services to about 5,000 people every year. We've grown significantly in the last 15 years. We employ about 135 staff, most of whom are healthcare professionals like physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech pathologists, counselors. We have 2 developmental pediatricians, a neurologist, and a psychiatrist. We have a successful foundation that raises hundreds of thousands of dollars every year from individuals, corporations who believe in what we do and the impact we're having in the community. And finally, thousands of parents trust us to help their kids learn how to do things that other kids their age are learning to do on their own, such as eating, speaking, walking, and playing. We are an incredible organization with amazing staff, inspirational clients, strong, loyal, and generous donors and supporters, and a rich history of serving our community for more than half a century. Yet, our systems and processes prior to implementing Salesforce did not match the level of professionalism within our organization, nor did they match the level of importance of the services that we were providing. They also didn't really align with the story we told ourselves and we told our community about the organization, which is that we're an innovative, forward-thinking, and progressive in our space. And in all other ways, other than technology, we were. So our systems were doing us a tremendous disservice and were negatively impacting our staff's ability to do their jobs. They were negatively impacting our client experience. Our processes were manual, slow, lots of duplication. We were heavily reliant on paper and mail to communicate with families. We had a lot of very talented people doing very silly work. And as a leader, I couldn't trust our data. It was incorrect, incomplete, and prevented my board leadership team and I from making important data-driven decisions about the organization and our future. So needless to say, something had to change. So as we are gearing up for the development and launch of our new strategic plan, our staff and clients, for whom we did a massive engagement sessions with, told us very clearly that we needed to prioritize technology and implement new systems and processes to improve their experience. We listened, and in January of 2020, we launched our new 3-year strategic plan with digital transformation very much at the forefront. That same year, we launched a pilot of Salesforce, and in 2021, we scaled the platform across the entire organization. And here is what we were able to achieve. We digitized all of our documents, forms, implemented e-signatures, web-based referrals, meaning that we didn't need to print or mail anything ever again. Going completely digital saved us over $30,000 a year in the 2 pilot programs, and we're waiting to see that savings from our full-scale implementation with the other 6 programs that went live just this October, so just about a month ago. We saved on printing, paper, postage, as well as an average of about an hour a day for administrative staff on tasks that are now automated. We decreased the amount of time from referral to a client's first visit by 50%. By creating a secure client portal that allows us to confidentially share documents like consent forms, gather collateral information digitally, and this really did eliminate the need to physically send documents back and forth and manually enter data into our system. We standardized our fields, data collection processes, and have built reports in the system that shows us exactly what we're doing on key KPIs. Because of Salesforce's relational system, our data is linked in a way that allows us to run more sophisticated analysis. I get a dashboard of performance automatically sent to me every week by email. We've been able to reorganize our administrative teams and resources to better meet the needs today and into the future. 2 of our admin assistants, whose roles prior to 2020 were primarily printing, faxing, filing paper on behalf of our programs, were given an opportunity to support the digital transformation project in a big way. They eventually became Salesforce administrators and have both been promoted into roles within the organization to support the sustainability of Salesforce and all of our systems moving forward. So let me rewind back to January of 2020, when we were about to embark on this journey. And as I reflect back on that time, I often think about the challenges, real and perceived, that we needed to consider and overcome to even get us to the starting line of this journey. So what do we have to overcome to take this on? Well, first, we hadn't undergone a transformation like this in 16 years, which in and of itself was part of the problem. We had a long way to go technologically in terms of our systems, software, hardware. Obviously the space had changed dramatically, the access to technology had changed dramatically. And because 16 years ago, and I mentioned this in the breakout group, when somebody said, how do you know when you've become a Tesla? And I think in my head, I was thinking, like, even if you become a Tesla, Tesla becomes something else every day. I have a Tesla. I don't even know how to use it to its full potential, but I get software updates every week. And it's literally the only car I've ever owned that gets better over time, because it's, even though you have it, it's always changing. It's always getting better, and there's more new features. So I think for us as an organization, the trap we ran into 16 years ago is we went through a massive transformation, and then we kind of wiped our hands clean of it and said, great, we're done. And that mentality kind of stuck with us for 16 years, to a place where we had to do such a huge change this last 2 years that we wouldn't have necessarily needed to do if we had changed incrementally over time. We also had a lot of assumptions 2 years ago, as we were embarking on this journey, about our IT team's ability to manage and support change, whether they'd be able to do it or not. We had assumptions about how tech savvy our staff were and how they would respond to change. We had concerns about service disruption, lengthy timelines for the project, costs. Ultimately, we looked at the cost of continuing to do nothing for a 17th year, 18th year, 19th year, and weighed it against the challenges and assumptions we were making, and decided that with the right support, both internally and externally, and buy-in from our staff, which we already knew we had based on those engagement sessions, it was time to be bold. We had the support of our board and created a project team and decision-making governance structure within the organization to make sure that we can make decisions quickly and move the project along at a good pace. We received permission from our funders to divert some of our funds to the initial pilot project. And once the pilot project was deemed successful, we leveraged our foundation to cover the full cost of implementation. We seconded a few staff to be on the project team, as I mentioned, to add bench strength internally, as well as to provide developmental opportunities for staff who are eager to stretch. We ultimately chose Belmar as our implementation partner to ensure that we had a strong and committed external team supporting us. So what did we learn about ourselves in the last almost 2 years? So we launched the Salesforce pilot in two large programs of ours in March and in May of 2020. We had concerns, assumptions about staff's ability to be change able prior to this launch. And then, of course, unbeknownst to us, we ended up planning our launch in the middle of the first wave of a 1-in-100-year global pandemic. So what we learned right away is that our staff are much, much, much more resilient and adaptable than we gave them credit for. We were not only implementing Salesforce at this time, but we also implemented a host of other digital technologies as well, as you all have, I'm sure, and completely turned around our service model on its head to ensure that we could continue providing critical and essential services to our clients during the pandemic. After evaluating the pilot, and as we began planning for full implementation in 2021, we realized that the pandemic and the forced rapid change that was thrust on all of us actually increased our organization's ability to withstand change that we probably would not have otherwise thought, or that we probably would have otherwise thought was overwhelming. The pandemic not only showed us that we were inherently more adaptable, but I think it also increased our adaptability for future change. Based on how the rest of our organization has fared since we went live across the organization in October, I can definitely say that that's the case. In 2018, we began doing annual staff experience surveys. One question asks staff whether they feel they have the tools and technology to do their jobs effectively. In 2018, we had a whopping 52% of our staff that agreed with that statement. And in August of 2021, that number increased to 85%. The key takeaway for me as a leader was that I was, as much as there were concerns around timing and costs, change management, adaptability, I saw how far we had fallen behind technologically in the last 5 or 10 years, and I knew that this gap would only increase, and probably increase quite rapidly over the next 5 years. The cost of not doing anything, be it financial, staff experience, recruitment, retention, client experience, the trust from the public and from our donors, the quality of our service, all of those potential impacts far outweigh the fears I had about taking on this massive but necessary challenge. So what's next for us is we're developing organizational dashboards that will be shared weekly across all teams and leaders to provide up-to-date data up-to-date information on how we're performing on key indicators like number of referrals, wait times, waitlist volumes, and client outcomes. We're now able to use this data to do quality improvement, and we'll be establishing QI teams across the organization. The data feeds a board dashboard so they can have line of sight on our KPIs as well. We're going to continue to prioritize making the client portal engaging by having resources, documents, and educational material constantly refreshed. As mentioned before, we now have 2 people on staff who have Salesforce administrator training and who are able to continue making adjustments to the system, building reports, and maintaining the system in-house, which frees us up to be able to make some of these changes and be more autonomous and independent in our ability to sustain the system. We've begun providing some fee-for-service IT and digital transformation consultation to other organizations in our space who need support transitioning from older legacy systems like the ones we were on, or processes, which now for us as an organization creates a new revenue generating stream. In 2022, we began working at transforming our financial systems and processes, or we will, be looking at transforming our financial systems and processes, including our fundraising database, contract management systems. We see Salesforce as playing a critical role in helping us transform these systems and integrating with our existing platform. We hope to save about $50,000 a year in material costs by switching to Salesforce, and we've been able to redirect 2 full-time positions from doing lower-level administrative work to now utilizing their talents in high-value work. We'll be training and reassigning our other admin staff to do more value-add tasks, including contract management, reporting, quality improvement, and data analytics. We've deleted 4 administrative positions, and thankfully we were able to do that through turnover over the last year as they've become vacant, and that in and of itself has saved us over $200,000 in salary and benefits. In the end, we have systems that work for us, processes that are smooth and automated where possible, and staff whose talents and skills are being better utilized, while also offering developmental and career laddering opportunities to grow as our systems grow with us. Looking back and remembering how daunting the challenges we had ahead of us felt, but now being able to see it from here, I can say that as challenging as it was also incredibly positive and rewarding. It offered us a chance to not only update our systems and process, but also to learn a lot about ourselves as an organization. And we actually grew closer together as teams, all working towards the same goal. So that's a little bit about us and our story, and happy to take questions or dive into the breakout rooms and chat about it a little bit more.